you may remember me from a place that was alive with the sound of music. Well, I've been set free to explore a much more beautiful place where the hills are truly alive with the sound of music. I'm taking a magical mystery tour to draw my very own musical map of Wales. I'll be travelling the length and breadth of the country, meeting some fabulous people. I used to be where you are. All with wonderful talents.
Bring us back to dawn.
And amazing tales to share. Hold on for a bumpy ride.
I haven't driven a car in 10 years. It's really fine, honestly.
Famous last words.
A deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun.
I've headed north into the mountains of Snowdonia and beyond. People say my driving's a bit erratic, and so are my routes. I always go the pretty way. And today, my route takes me around this glorious part of the world. Travelling through the mountains, which will be alive with the sound of music, and ending in the fantasy world of Portmeirion. And I'm not travelling alone.
This is my travelling companion. His name is Gilbert, and he's one of the last remaining Welsh-built sports cars. He'll be providing you with the best seat in the house. I, on the other hand, might be in for a bumpier ride.
To tell you the truth, this is the journey that's given me a few sleepless nights. A combination of steep mountain passes, a 40-year-old travelling companion, and my driving. Be afraid. Be very afraid. My musical map starts with the incredible story of the day the Beatles came to Bangor. 1967, and the Beatles were a musical global phenomenon, the Fab Four defining the swinging 60s. So just why in July of that year did they come to Bangor University and cause uproar? The Beatles' spiritual guru Maharishi Mahesh Yogi came to Bangor to lead a transcendental meditation conference. So far, so odd. But what made it a day to remember was that John, Paul, George and Ringo decided to sign up as delegates. I'm reuniting the Bangor Four, who are all part of that amazing event.
Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell me, what was it like the day in 67 the Beatles came to Bangor?
The weather wasn't as good as this.
Len Jones was a gardener on the campus. Little did he know what was at the bottom of the garden that day.
What was the buzz like?
I came here at 8 o'clock in the morning to start work, and there was hundreds of people here. Well, they were singing and they were meditating. It was fun, and they're playing the guitars and everything. It was great. The Beatles came then. You couldn't move with hundreds and hundreds of people, and especially the girls. They were all screaming, "Beatles, where are you?" The whole college, everybody stopped work for a day or two, and it was heaven.
It was the height of flower power at the time.
Yes,
you must have
it
been
was.
a very busy gardener.
Yes, we had a big rose bed here, right down that monkey puzzle tree, and they took all the roses, cut them all off and put them around the hair and everything, you know.
Now, I heard that they weren't wearing many clothes when you spotted them. Is that true?
Yes, it was. A lot of the girls, they were bare-breasted and everything else. The whole Bangor area, they seemed to went mad. Well, they put Bangor on the map.
Bob Hewitt was a trainee press photographer who got wind of the Beatles' magical mystery tour to Bangor and rushed to the station.
They stepped off the train and they stood there while we took that photograph. So it was a bit of a thrill for me, because I was still saving up my bits from my wages, you know, to buy the albums and things, because I really did like the Beatles.
When you took this shot, did you know you had an iconic image?
I had no idea at the time. I mean, I was just firing away and hoping that the film was going through the camera. So to get back and develop the roll of film and seeing that we got some great shots, it just sums up the summer of love and whatever else you'd call it at that time. I don't think anyone ever realised back in the mid-60s what an impact these people would have.
Jeff Dacre was a local teenager who decided that he wasn't going to miss out. and that with the help of his dad's camera, he could get up close and personal with his heroes.
Jeff, you were a little bit naughty the day the Beatles came to Bangor, weren't you?
Well, yes, I suppose we were really. Nobody famous ever came to Bangor, so we grabbed our cameras and just a notepad and pen from the shop. We said freelance press, cameras hidden under the coats, and they just nodded us in. Sidled down the side to near the stage, listened to all this mumbo jumbo, cameras out, took a photograph, cameras behind the coat again, hope nobody noticed.
Let's have a peek at these photos.
Yeah, sure. What we weren't expecting was the fact that Mick Jagger, Marianne Faithfull, Jane Asher, Patti Boyd were also there on the front row.
Star-studded, wasn't it?
It was,
And
yeah.
you were there. And he's wearing his famous crushed velvet pants. Do you know what? You look a bit Mick Jagger.
I think so.
Gareth Roberts was a student who was curious about transcendental meditation, the Maharishi and the Beatles, and went to the conference. But the Beatles' meditation was to be rudely interrupted by a phone call with some tragic news.
At that time, of course, it was the summer holidays, so there were no students. The telephone rang and rang and rang, and Paul McCartney said, somebody better answer that telephone. He went into the hall, and there was a message to say that their manager, Epstein, had died. And that, of course, changed the whole series of events. They immediately left Bangor on the first train out. That was a watershed in their history, and the whole thing changed after that. And certainly that is what's made this particular event here so important in their history, I think.
The Beatles left Bangor in a hurry on that day, never to return. And I'm off on my magical mystery tour as I head a few miles south into Snowdonia.
Come on, Gilbert. Okay. Look at that, there's a sheep sign. Look out for sheep. Beware of the sheep. Oh, wow, look at that, that's amazing.
What music do you associate with these stunning ranges? Operatic arias with Bryn Terfel? Traditional Welsh hymns and harps? Maybe. But what about the Bollywood beat? Believe it or not, there have been more than 10 Bollywood epics shot in Wales in the past few years. I'm going to meet Raj Verma, a Bollywood star who's performed in numerous films in India. He decided that the celebrity lifestyle was no longer for him, visited Dolgellau and fell in love with Wales. Raj and his family now live there, and he started his own company to help bring Bollywood to Wales.
Raj, what a spectacular backdrop. Isn't it stunning?
Amazing. I feel I'm on a Bollywood set now.
So when you're walking through the streets of Dolgellau, do people stop you and come up to you and say, oh my word, you're in a Bollywood film?
Well, anyone who is Indian are taken by shock and surprise. What is he doing here?
There's a lot of dancing in Bollywood, isn't there?
Right.
So how many people would come to dance in a Bollywood film in the middle of Snowdonia?
Well, if it's a reasonably sized production, you know, one would see at least 70, 80 dancers standing here, dancing, changing light bulbs, doing all kind of mad things in colorful clothes. If you try to look for reality, you will wonder, fine, the boy's singing, he's in love. The girl is dancing, she's in love. But what's wrong with those 80 people behind there? Why are they dancing? But that is Bollywood.
How are you bringing Bollywood to North Wales?
Every actor dances, I dance. I do a Bollywood dancing, so I'm going to teach them. I do my workshop in Wales, which people
My
love.
middle name is Connie Can't Dance Fisher.
Oh.
Can't dance, won't dance. But I'll give anything a shot. I mean, could you maybe teach me a few moves?
Absolutely, I can. But for that, you need to fall in love.
Let's do it then.
Let's
fall
do
in
it,
love.
because you need a situation. Let's get to the basics first. In Bollywood dancing, right from the finger, go like that, to the arm,
Oh,
to the shoulder,
oh,
body, to the head. Everything has to move, and at the same time.
hang on.
Okay? Yes, yeah, we'll get there. Just warm up. Get the shoulder. Yes.
Oh, all right.
Like that.
Okay.
Come on, go like that. And 1, 2, 1, 2,
I can do that.
1,
Okay.
2, 1, 2. Right? And now, feed the pigeons. Turn, full turn. Gumo.
Gumo.
Ah, circle, ghumo.
Peter's pigeons.
Right. 1, 2.
It's getting complicated now,
What?
Raj.
It's not complicated. It's nothing.
Okay, right.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1,
Stop
2,
laughing.
1, 2. Please do try this at home. Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Is this right?
Oh yes.
Chicken,
yes.
baby.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
So in Bollywood dancing, it's extremely important to have that
Or.
smile and love, romance on the face.
Okay.
Yes. So imagine someone dancing like this, changing like light bulb. Or the little smile. Yes. And now it's time to go for the big one.
The story so far, a beautiful young girl, is going for a gentle walk in the foothills of love, when suddenly she bumps into a handsome film producer. Get him! How many Bollywood dancers does it take to change a light bulb? And of course, they live happily ever after. Ah well, duty calls, time and musical maps wait for no woman. Follow me, crew. It might not be possible. Gilbert seems to be a bit jealous.
Broken down.
Come on. You know I love you, really.
Let's go. Woo! Gilbert's back.
We're off and back on the road again as we leave totally stunning Snowdonia. And what a view on a beautiful day like today. Gilbert and I are heading a few miles west through Llanberis towards Caernarfon and the Menai Straits. I'm here to meet some very special young musicians who are following in the footsteps of one of Wales's most famous composers.
William Matthias was a child prodigy, learned to play the piano at the age of 3 and composing by the tender age of 5. He famously wrote an anthem for the royal wedding in 1981 for the Prince and Princess of Wales. Here, in the gallery, is the William Matthias Centre, and I'm here to seek out some stars of the future.
The striking modern architecture is home to some of the country's best young musicians who want to make music their life. And artistic director Sioned Webb tutors some of the pupils.
Push. Back in, so ni feddwl. Bam, bam.
One of the star pupils is award-winning pianist Gwen O'Glynn.
Hiya! That is pretty impressive. How long have you been playing?
I started when I was about 7 years old.
Yes.
And I'm now 15.
Are you very competitive?
Yes, I was very fortunate to win the Blue Ribbon Award in the National State Award in Cardiff in 2008.
And you're how old?
I was 12 at the time.
Sioned, what goes on here?
It was set up as a centre of excellence, but it's grown, and there are nearly 400 pupils here now. The youngest is 18 months. She attends Camau Cyntaf Cerdd, which is the first steps in music.
Do you have to be really gifted to come here, or is it for anybody?
We do believe every musician is a gifted musician, but on the other hand, we have a diverse number of pupils and diverse styles and talents.
And where would a Welsh music centre be without a harp? And in the talented hands of pupil Rhian Dyer.
Rhian, I don't want to stop you because it's so beautiful. Is that a hard piece to play?
Yeah, it's quite hard. I'm learning it for my diploma at the moment.
It sounds like you put in hours and hours of practice a week. Is that true?
Yeah, I try to do over an hour a day.
Is there anything that you have to sacrifice to be a harpist?
Well, I can't have long nails.
You can't have long nails?
No, I have to keep them quite short.
Okay, well that counts me out completely. And do you have any harp idols?
I like Catherine Finch because she's doing lots of different things and she's experimenting a lot.
She's quite groovy as well.
Yeah, she is quite groovy, yeah.
Catherine Finch gives masterclasses at the centre to bring on the next generation of harpists. You never know, one day we might all be listening to Rhiain Daya.
Let's be off, is it?
Just a short journey across Caernarfon to the home of royal pageantry and music, Caernarfon Castle.
Wow, look at that. Pretty impressive.
The castle was hung with banners.
And just over 40 years ago, Caernarfon prepared for a very special event.
A symbol of sovereignty.
In 1969, royal fanfares welcomed the new Prince of Wales, but there was music from this period that was rather less welcoming.
Security in Caernarfon was massive, as the British government reacted to Welsh nationalist protests at the investiture of Prince Charles. A lot of it was peaceful, some less so. And one song and one young Welsh folk singer provided the soundtrack to the protest with his hit of the swinging 60s. I'm off to meet David Iwan, better known today as Plaid Cymru politician and businessman, but way back then, the Bob Dylan of Wales.
I was involved in the language struggles and campaigns of the 60s and 70s and so on, and naturally that was gradually taking over my life and my songs. And the song which has really created most reaction, negative and positive, is the song I wrote about Prince Charles in 1969. I wrote Carlo as a kind of leg pull, you know, satirising him as the biggest Welshman that ever was.
Oh, Carlo, Carlo, Carlo Maripolo, Carlo, Carlo, Carlo Maripolo, da-da-dee.
The hype surrounding the investiture was so intense, people really created a hate figure out of me, and people threatened my life. On the other hand, there were people who really loved the song. So I actually remember concerts where the audience actually split in two. Half of them were throwing things at me and half of them were idolising me.
La 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 la.
Controversial songs are strange things, you know, they're controversial for a while and then they either die or become part of your repertoire. And it's always good to recall the furore, if you like, and for and against. But I think they can play a small part in changing people's attitudes. I've never seen it as protest, really. I've seen it as expressing what means a lot to you.
So it's fair to say you'd be at a loss without the royal family.
Yeah, exactly. I've made quite a bit of money out of them. Not as much as they have made out of me.
Time to leave Caernarfon, its castle and controversy, and on to my next destination.
Portmeirion translates as Port of the Mad Dog.
I'm going the beautiful way through some stunning landscape and down to Portmeirion. But beauty has a price. These roads are a little bit tricky.
Whee, sorry. Breathe in. Come on, Gilbert. Oh, hill start. It's not me, it's Gilbert. Hill start too. Come on, Gilbert. Woo! Hammer off.
It'll be worth it in the end, trust me, as I'm off to piano heaven. Portmeirion has a very unusual musical claim to fame. It supplies pianos for some of the biggest musical performers in the country, and I'm here to meet Ian Jones, aka Mr. Piano, to find out exactly how Portmeirion became the place for pianos.
Ian, we're surrounded by a sea of pianos. Tell me how this all started.
It all started from a little old lady walking into my mother and father's shop, said, do you sell pianos? And of course my father, being my father, sort of said, no, but I can get you one. Off he went down to London to get 2 pianos, and he came back, sold the first, sold the second, and the rest is history.
What is your most expensive piano here?
We're talking £27,000, £28,000 at the moment, yeah. It's the handmade, it's the precision. That is what you pay for in a piano.
So indulge me, who have you tuned pianos for?
I tuned for Connie Fisher once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where was that?
I think, was it at the Veinol, or was it? Have you
At the Veinol, yes. Bryn Terrell's Veinol.
Yeah. This one's just come back now from Des O'Connor.
Des O'Connor's played this piano.
Lovely, lovely man. Lovely man.
Did he tap dance on the piano as well? I can imagine Des giving it the old shoe shuffle.
But it's been great. We've tuned and supplied many pianos from Carreras to Cullum to Bryn.
Where's the furthest that you've actually shipped a piano?
Anywhere.
Top of any mountains? Wasn't it Bryn?
Oh, mountains, yeah, well that's Bryn Terrell for you, he doesn't make it easier for us, no, he wants to go to Ynys Enlli, to Bardsey Island, or up Snowdon, and that was good.
I am dreaming of the mountains of my home.
The Snowdon Railway had extra passengers on that day, Ian and the piano. But that was the easy part. It took some heave-ho and quite a few burly men to take the instrument the last few yards.
The summer never dies, but my heart is in the mountains of my home.
One minute it was nice and sunny there, then all of a sudden it was getting cold, and the piano was in and out all day really, and but yeah, we tuned it 3 or 4 times that day.
Would you mind if I had the bash?
By the way.
It's an expensive one, I can tell, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. Impressive, huh?
I'd stick to singing really, Connie, is it?
That was a bit harsh. I didn't like to tell Ian, but I think that piano was out of tune. The final piece of my North Wales musical map is a magical place just a few miles east, Portmeirion. The amazing fantasy Italianate village was the dream of world-famous architect Sir Clough Williams-Ellis. Work began in 1926 and took many years to complete, and it's regarded by many as one of the 7 wonders of Wales. And it was to be a very 60s theme tune that was to make this place even more famous. The Prisoner was a cult series in the late 60s. Its story was even stranger than this place. If you haven't seen it, it's hard to explain, but it involved a prisoner, Patrick McGowan, a very threatening beach ball, and a lot of confusion. But there is something about to happen here which you may think is even more bizarre.
This will surprise you because it surprised me. Portmeirion is also home to a festival that celebrates the work of a great musical star, and it's run by a great Welsh stargazer.
Ivor Novello was born in Cardiff in 1893 and became one of the world's most popular composers and performers, even starring in Hollywood films. Back then, he was even bigger than Lloyd Webber, writing numerous hit shows and songs. So what you might well be asking is, what's Russell Grant doing here?
Well, Russell, I never expected you to be an Ivor Novello fan.
So what does an Ivor Novello fan look like?
Like this, I think.
It's true, it's true.
How did that start?
Well...
Russell Grant, who lives in North Wales, is best known for his astrology and predictions. Back in the 70s, though, he was an actor and singer and performed in an Ivor Novello musical. And the love affair began.
I was working with Olive Gilbert, and Olive Gilbert was one of Ivor's leading ladies, and he wrote lots of the parts for her. Beautiful songs like Take Your Girl for the cherries on her lips, for the cherries on her lips, take your girl. Oh, just the most magical music, and he wrote some of our greatest musicals.
Perhaps Ivor Novello's best-known song became the troops' favourite during the First World War. Keep the Home Fires Burning was the perfect song that reminded men of home and hope and was inspired by Ivor's mother.
Clara, his mum, I mean, she said to Ivor, "Ivor, love, you need to write something for the First World War." And he said, "But Mum, they've already got, it's a long way to Tipperary. They don't need anything else." And she went, "No, you need to write it." And they sang it first in a sort of a music hall setting. And by the end of it, everybody was joining in and a standing ovation.
Ivor Novello has become something of a forgotten hero. Many people these days would only know him through the Novello Music Awards.
It's rather sad that last year one of the recipients of a Novello Award didn't know who Novello was, which I found rather sad. But Ivor Novello certainly isn't as popular as he was or as he should be. And as a result of that, I've been working as much as I can to try and think of ways to raise his popularity. The Ivor Novello International, because he was an international star coming from Hollywood, Music and Movies Festival. And we will hold it here in Wales, where he belongs.
This sounds so exciting.
Well, you, my darling, I'm going to tell you now, you're already a patron.
Oh, check it out.
I just made you.
Oh, I love it.
A bit like, here we go, fairy godmother, ping ping, you are a patron. As with most songs.
We have a piano, pianist Annette Brimparry. Hey guys, let's put on a show right here.
Shall we do it? Keep the home fires burning, though your hearts are yearning, though your lives are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver light.
What a perfect end to an amazing journey. Ivor Novello, Portmeirion and Russell Grant. I don't think you can top that, so I won't even try.
Gets you right there, which is what it was meant to do.
It's like chocolate. You want more?
We do.
Next time, I'm travelling across the heads of the South Wales valleys to be serenaded by a superstar. Discover a recording studio that is part of rock history.
That when Freddie Mercury wrote Bohemian Rhapsody, perhaps he got Any Way the Wind Blows from looking up at that horse.
From that very weather vane.
And I give a masterclass in music and dance. Well, you got to give something back to the next generation.
I'm exhausted.
Green coloured ponies and crisp
And Connie's back next Monday, same time here on BBC One Wales, 7:30.
with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favourite things.